Hey everyone, welcome back. Indian has released their full 2025 lineup. We're going to check out all the details. I'm sure most of you know that Indian released a whole new lineup of Scouts early this year, I think back in April. Now the rest of the bike updates are available as well. One thing to remember with the Indian bikes, almost all, if not all of them, are most comfortable out of the box for people around 5'8" or taller, in my opinion. As someone who's 5'6.5", I have found that I need reduced reach bars on just about every bike that I have ridden to keep my shoulders from getting sore after about a half hour of riding. That's just been my experience. You can leave a comment below with your own experience with the Indians. Other than that, most of these are great bikes. There are a couple I don't like, but we'll get to that. Let's dig in. As always, we start at the low end with the Scout 60. The Scout 60 lineup has been updated to match the new Scouts that were released earlier this year. For the most part, the Scout 60s have a 60 cubic inch 999cc liquid-cooled 5-speed V-twin engine with 85 horsepower and 65 foot-pounds of torque. This is slightly more horsepower than last year's models. I think last year they had 78 horsepower. They all have a 3.4 gallon tank as well. We have three Scout 60 models. We start with the Scout 60 Bobber, 25.6 inch seat height and weighs 536 pounds. A measly 2 inches of suspension travel in the rear and 4.7 inches in the front. 4-inch round gauge. We finally have all LED lights on all the bikes, and ABS is now standard. The base model comes only in black and costs $9,999, so basically $10,000, which is a $750 drop from last year. I think the price on this was dropped to just below $10,000 so that they can say they have a cruiser under $10,000. The Scout 60 Bobber Limited weighs a couple more pounds at 543. It has cruise control, traction control, riding modes, and a USB port. Price on the black is $11,700. 3 color options are available for $12,200. This is a $50 increase from last year. Next up is the Sport Scout 60. This matches the Sport Scout and basically replaces the Scout Rogue 60. 25.7 inch seat height, weight is 549 pounds. This has a front cowl and a 19-inch front wheel. Otherwise same specs as the Bobber. Base model comes in black and MSRP is $11,500, which is $250 more than the Rogue 60 last year. The Sport Scout 60 Limited has the same upgrades: cruise control, traction control, USB, and riding modes. Black on the Limited is $12,000, 3 colors available for $12,700. Again, a price increase of $50 on those. Last is the Scout 60 Classic to match the Scout Classic. This replaces the Scout 60 from last year. This has the flared fenders and chrome pipes and bars. 25.7 inch seat height, weight is 551 pounds. These have 3 inches of travel on the rear instead of 2. Base comes in black and goes for $12,000, which is also up $250 from last year. The Limited has the same perks, the cruise control, traction control, that stuff. Black goes for $12,700 and 2 colors available for $13,200, again up $50 from last year. Moving up to the Scouts, these are the new models that were introduced earlier. These have a 1250cc 6-speed engine, which is about 76 cubic inches. Torque is at 82 foot-pounds and horsepower is up to 105. That's 10 more foot-pounds of torque and 5 more horsepower than last year's 1133cc engine, the 69 cubic engine that they had. Starting with the Scout Bobber, we have bar and mirrors now. Weight is 542 pounds, back to the 2-inch rear suspension, still all LED lights and standard ABS. The base black model is $13,000, up $750 from last year. The Bobber Limited has the typical tech upgrades with cruise and traction control, USB, and riding modes. Black is $13,700, 2 colors available for $14,200. And the Limited Plus tech option includes keyless ignition, a year's worth of ride command with GPS, weather and traffic, bike health, bike locator, etc. Black on this is $14,700, 2 colors available for $15,200, and 2 upgraded, I guess, icon colors are available for $15,700. Next up is the Sport Scout, the replacement for the Rogue. This has the 19-inch front wheel and bobbed fenders with blacked out look. Weight is 528 pounds. The base black goes for $13,500, also up $750 from the Rogue. The Limited black goes for $14,200, and the 3 color options go for $14,700. Limited Plus Tech Black goes for $15,200, and the 3 color options on the Limited Plus Tech go for $15,700. Continuing on to the Scout Classic. Chrome, spoked wheels, flared fenders. Weight is 553 pounds. Base black MSRP is $14,000, up $750 like all the others. Limited black goes for $14,700, and 1 color goes for $15,200. The Limited Plus Tech black goes for $15,700. 1 plain color goes for $16,200, and 2 upgraded colors or icon colors with tank badging go for $16,700. The old Scout Bobber 20 is gone. We now have the brand new Scout models introduced earlier this year that we haven't seen before. First is the Super Scout. This is modeled like the Super Chief. It has saddlebags and a windshield. There's no base or limited. It only comes with Limited Plus Tech as the only option. Weight is 589 pounds. Black MSRP is $16,500. 2 color options available go for $17,000. And last is the 101 Scout with the engine tuned up to 111 horsepower. Weight is 549 pounds with a front cowl. This bike sits at $17,000 with 2 color options. This little beast is an absolute rocket and a blast to ride. This bike is a reboot of the original 101 Scout made from 1928 to 1931, a bike some have called the best bike Indian ever made. One thing to consider with the Scouts, these bikes have very low seat heights and ground clearances, which means it is very easy to scrape the pegs. They don't have the ground clearance for aggressive cornering, but they are great bikes. My second bike was a Scout, and I really liked it, had it for a year until I was ready to upgrade to a touring bike. Whenever I talk about the Indian or Harley lineups, I typically talk about how they each compare with the other, since they are each other's biggest competitor. The Harley Revolution Max engines are the closest to the Scout engines. The Nightster Revolution Max 975 has more power than the Scout 60 and less than the Scout, so it basically sits between the two in terms of power. The Scouts have way more options, a lower starting price, quite honestly look much better in my opinion than the Nightster, so there's no doubt the Scouts win over the Nightster. We're going to take a break from the cruisers. Up next in the price range is the FTR bikes. The FTR bikes have a 73 cubic inch, 1203cc, 6-speed V-twin engine with 120 horsepower and 87 foot-pounds of torque. These all have a 31.7 inch seat height, 3.4 gallon tank, adjustable suspension, all LED lights, ABS, and cruise control. All the FTR bikes have the same price as last year. The base FTR comes in 1 color and has a fairly basic gauge system. It weighs 514 pounds, MSRP is $13,500. The FTR Rally has been discontinued. So that takes us to the FTR Sport, which comes in 2 colors and has a ride command gauge system with GPS and Bluetooth, as well as traction control, cruise control, wheelie and rear lift mitigation, and riding modes. Weight is slightly more at 522 pounds. Price is $15,750 for the gray and red, and $16,000 for the black and blue. Next up is the FTR R Carbon, just 1 color on this one, also with the ride command gauge and the same tech options as the Sport. Weighs slightly less at 518 pounds, has upgraded suspension, seat, and has carbon upgrades as well. MSRP is $17,250. We now have 2 special collaboration models. The FTR X RSD Super Hooligan is basically the same as the FTR Sport as far as specs and tech, but has a Super Hooligan paint scheme and racing theme on it. Price is $18,500. The FTR X 100% R Carbon is basically the same as the FTR R Carbon as far as specs go. It is a limited edition that comes in 1 color with a special paint scheme as well. Price is $19,000. When it comes to comparing with Harley, these go up against the Sportster S. These are very close in power. I think the Sportster S edges out the FTR just by a hair. But like the Scouts, the FTR has more model options and a better price range. I personally find the FTR way more enjoyable than the Sportster S due to the style and riding position. In fact, I named the FTR as my top bike of the year after riding 46 bikes in demo rides in 2024. So moving back to the cruisers, we now go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs, for the most part, have the same model structure as the Scouts, with the addition of the Dark Horse models. The engines change on the Chiefs. Now we have the Thunderstroke engines. There are 7 Chief models, 3 with the Thunderstroke 111 and 4 with the Thunderstroke 116. The Chief pricing structure changes as well. There's only one set of tech options on each model. We don't have the base versus limited plus tech like we did on the Scouts. You can still buy a non-ABS version of the Chiefs on the 3 models with the Thunderstroke 111. The Thunderstroke 111 has 108 foot-pounds of torque, and the Thunderstroke 116 has 120 foot-pounds of torque. These engines are actually tuned down a little bit in power as compared to the Thunderstroke 111 and 116 on the touring bikes, but we'll get to that later. These all have a 4-gallon tank, LED lights, riding modes, keyless ignition, and a 26 to 27 inch seat height. The Thunderstroke 116 bikes have a ride command gauge with Bluetooth. The Thunderstroke 111 bikes have basic gauge systems without all the tech. Prices are all the same as last year, no price increases here either. Starting at the bottom of the pack, we have the base Chief. This has the 111 engine, so a simplified gauge. Weight is 647 pounds. There are 6 options, 3 colors, with or without ABS. Black without ABS is $15,000. Non-ABS maroon and titanium are $15,500. ABS black is $15,950, and ABS maroon and titanium are $16,450. The Chief Bobber is next, also with the 111 engine. Weight is 694 pounds. This has mini ape handlebars. Non-ABS black is $16,500 and non-ABS white is $17,000. ABS black is $17,450 and ABS white is $17,950. The Chief Dark Horse comes next in the price range with a 116 engine, ride command gauge, and ABS on all models. Weight is 670 pounds. Black is $18,500. 2 colors available for $19,000 and an Icon paint scheme for $19,500. The Super Chief, like the Super Scout, has the saddlebags and windshield. This has the 111 engine and simplified gauge. Weight is 714 pounds. Only comes in black. Non-ABS is $19,000. ABS is $19,950. The Chief Bobber Dark Horse has the 116 engine and has the mini apes like the Chief Bobber. This weighs 694 pounds. Black is $20,000. 2 color options for $20,500 and an Icon paint scheme for $21,000. The Sport Chief, like the Sport Scout, has the front cowl on it. Weight is down to 665 pounds. This has the 116 engine, of course. Pricing is the same as the Bobber Dark Horse. Black is $20,000, 3 colors for $20,500, and an Icon color for $21,000. Last of the Chiefs is the Super Chief Limited. Saddlebags and windshield now with the 116 engine and related tech. Weight is 714 pounds. Black is $22,000, 2 colors for $22,500, and the Icon for $23,000. Comparing the Chiefs, which are the midweight cruisers, to the Harley midweight cruisers is a little bit difficult. The models don't all line up with each other. The Super Chief Limited correlates for the most part with the Heritage Classic in terms of engine power. The Sport Chief probably correlates with the Lowrider S. I guess the base Chief and Chief Bobber line up with the Softail Standard and Street Bob, but Harley has more power in their 114 and 117 engines than Indian does in their 111 and 116 on the Chiefs, which still makes me wonder why they tuned the engine power down on the Chiefs, but anyway. And Harley has more model variety with the Breakout, the Lowrider ST, the Fat Boy. I only rode the Sport Chief and the Super Chief Limited models this year and actually didn't really like either of them. You can see my reviews on those rides in my channel, but overall Harley does win when it comes to the midweight cruiser category in my personal opinion. We now move up to the touring models. Everything moving forward has hard saddlebags. We start with the Springfield, just 2 models here. The Springfield Classic has 2 colors. This is a chromed out bike with swooped fenders and matching swoop on the saddlebags and a windshield. It has a Thunderstroke 111 engine. This Thunderstroke 111 on touring bikes now has 119 foot-pounds of torque, up from the 108 on the Chief. Seat height is 26 inches. It has a 5.5 gallon tank and weighs a heavy 827 pounds. ABS cruise control, riding modes, keyless ignition, and tire pressure monitoring come standard. Handlebars are pulled way back on this bike. This might be one that doesn't require the reduced reach bars for me. $23,000 MSRP for either color, same price as last year. The Springfield Dark Horse has the 116 engine. This 116 is up to 126 foot-pounds of torque. It has a blacked out modern look and no windshield, which brings the weight down 50 pounds to 776. Same tech as the Classic. Seat height is slightly taller at 26.5. Mini ape handlebars on this one. Two colors, black is $25,000 and moss green is $25,500. The Dark Horse goes up against the Road King Special. Harley doesn't currently have a Road King Standard to go up against the Springfield Classic. I've ridden the Springfield Classic and the Road King Special with a windshield on it. I definitely feel like the Springfield is a better ride, more fun, more enjoyable, even though it's a much heavier weight. It has better tech on it, but the weight is low, keeping it well balanced. I definitely enjoyed that ride more. Next up are the Chieftains with the Batwing fork mounted fairing. These are all the same price as last year as well. Indian has changed a couple of the model options in the Limited and Dark Horse models. We'll get to that in a minute. The base model comes with a 111 engine at 119 foot-pounds of torque, 5.5 gallon tank, 26.5 inch seat height, which is up 3/4 of an inch from last year, and weighs 811 pounds, which is down a few pounds from last year, so they trimmed some weight off somewhere. This still has a 7-inch display, no real changes here. Riding modes, adjustable windscreen, Bluetooth, 100-watt sound system, ABS, cruise control, keyless ignition, only comes in black, price is $24,000. The upgrade options for the Chieftain are the Chieftain Limited and the Chieftain Dark Horse. The Limited is the chrome version, Dark Horse is blacked out of course. Both have a slightly higher 27-inch seat height and weigh a couple more pounds at 820. Both have all the usual tech, plus Apple CarPlay, tire pressure monitoring, and ride command for a year with weather, traffic, GPS, bike health, etc. Both have the option to upgrade the audio to the power band audio. Limited comes in two colors, both sit at $29,750. There's no more black option on the Limited. If you want black, you have to buy the Dark Horse. The Limited with power band audio is $31,000. The Dark Horse comes in three colors, black is $30,000, the two colors are $30,750. With power band audio, that puts them at $31,250 for black and $32,000 for the two colors. These go up against the Harley Street Glides. This is a tough one. Harley put out some big updates to the Glides this year. The Street Glides have the same engine on all their models, which has a little more power than the Indian 116. But the base model is a couple thousand more than the base Chieftain. The top of the line Street Glide only goes up to $28,200, which is quite a chunk less than the Chieftain's top of the line price at $32,000. But the Chieftain's top of the line price includes much better audio. All the Chieftains have the adjustable windshield, which is a big plus, so it really is a toss-up. Next up is the Challengers with the shark-nosed frame-mounted fairings. Prices are the same as last year here. Unlike Harley, where the only significant difference between the Street Glide and the Road Glide is the fairing, and the prices are the same between the two, the Challengers have a completely different engine and are priced higher than the Chieftains. These all have the Power Plus 108 engine with 122 horsepower and 128 foot-pounds of torque, 26.5 inch seat height, and a 6-gallon tank. Bluetooth, riding modes, cruise control, adjustable windshield, LED lights, 7-inch display are all included even on the base model. Base model weighs 831 pounds and costs $26,500 for black and $27,250 for titanium. The Limited and Dark Horse are similar to the Chieftain in that the Limited is chrome, Dark Horse is blacked out, each has the power band audio option and the full gamut of tech that comes with ride command. Weight goes up to 840 pounds on these. One difference here, the Challenger Limited does have a black option. That is priced at $30,000. Red is $30,750 and white is $31,500. Power band audio bumps that up $1,250 to $31,250, $32,000, and $32,750. The Dark Horse Black is $31,000. Red is $31,750 and blue is $32,500. Another difference from the other bikes, the Challenger Dark Horse with power band audio has color options only available with the power band audio option. Prices range from $32,250 to $34,750 depending on the color. There are 6 colors available. Comparing the Challenger to the Harley Road Glides is also tough. Harley has a better price point. Even though Harley's display is bigger, I still think the Indian has better tech with adjustable windshields. The windscreens on the Harley Glides kind of sucks in my opinion. There are pros and cons to each bike, making it much more of a preferential decision. The Roadmaster is next. This is the full dresser version of the Chieftain with the hard lowers and the tour pack. 116 engine with 126 foot-pounds of torque across the board with a 5.5 gallon tank. The base model is styled like the Springfield Classic with the big swooped fenders and saddlebags. The fairing is styled differently than the regular fairing as well. 28-inch seat height and weighs 919 pounds, the usual full list of ride command tech. This also includes heated grips and a 200-watt audio. Black is $33,000, two color options for $34,500. It looks like these prices are all the same as last year. The Limited and Dark Horse on the Roadmaster have the modern looks. Seat is slightly lower at 27.5 inches. These weigh 893 pounds. Limited is $33,000 for black, $33,750 for silver quartz. Power band audio adds $1,500 onto the price, going to $34,500 and $35,250. The Dark Horse Black is $33,500 and the Gray is $34,250. Power band odds $1,500 to the Black and $750 to the Gray, maxing them both out at the same price at $35,000 with the power band audio. The Roadmaster goes up against the Harley Ultra Limited. Harley didn't do the big updates on the full dresser bikes yet, so not sure what will happen with 2025 to see if they put those updates on those bikes. But at this point, Indian's tech far outweighs Harley on the dressers. But I still like the Ultra Limited a tiny bit more than the Roadmaster in test rides. Prices are almost identical between the two. Next is the Pursuit, the full dresser version of the Challenger. Prices stay the same here as well, no base model, just the Limited and Dark Horse only. Of course, these have the Power Plus 108 with a 6-gallon tank. Seat height is 26.5 inches and weight is 912 pounds. All the tech options included with ride command as well. The Limited has 4 colors and ranges from $35,000 to $36,500 without the power band audio, and $36,500 to $38,000 with power band audio. The Dark Horse without power band has 3 colors ranging from $36,000 to $37,500. The power band audio Pursuit has 4 colors ranging from $37,500 to $40,000. The Pursuit versus the Road Glide Limited isn't quite apples to apples either. Power Plus engine is more powerful than the Harley 114. The tech on the Pursuit is better, but the Harley pricing is better. I personally think the Pursuit is better with better colors, better tech, and in my own experience, a nicer ride. Last of the Indians is the Elite Series. Last year they had 4 models, one each for the Chieftain, the Challenger, the Roadmaster, and the Pursuit. But they've dropped the Chieftain Elite and the Pursuit Elite, leaving just the Roadmaster and the Challenger Elites. We start with the Challenger Elite since it's slightly less expensive. One color, this has all the same specs as the Challenger with some extra tech such as heated grips, smart lean technology, electronically adjustable rear suspension preload, and a 400-watt sound system. Price on this is $38,500, same as last year, and actually looks like the same color as last year as well. This goes up against the Harley CVO Road Glide, which has a more powerful engine, 2 color options, but costs $6,000 more than the Challenger Elite. So take your pick on that. And the last and most expensive Indian bike is the Roadmaster Elite. This is designed like the Roadmaster Classic with a new paint job for this year. This bike has a massive 600-watt sound system and apparently has underglow lighting as well per the website. Too bad the website doesn't have any pictures of that. Price on this beautiful beast is $42,000. Harley has no bike to compare directly to this. There it is, folks. Bikes ranging from $9,999 up to $41,999. Most bikes stayed the same price as last year, so kudos to Indian for not raising the prices on all their bikes. The new Scout models went up a bit. That's to be expected with the more powerful engines. Other than the Scouts, nothing much new or outstanding this year. Everything else is pretty much the same. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and hit the notification bell. And we'll see you on the next one.